So in this tutorial, we're going to go over basic Photoshop layers, opacities, and blending modes. So once you have Photoshop open, come up to File, New, bring up this pop-up window. We're going to go to US Paper, and let's make the width 32 inches, the height 22, and the resolution 150. This brings up our background and our first basic layer. Our layers can be found right here. Now if we want to add a new layer, all you have to do is click this New Sheet layer, and you'll bring up this Layer 1. Let's fill the Layer 1 with a rectangle. So if we come up to here, click on this rectangular tool, and click, holding Shift and drag, we can make a square. Let's fill the square with some color. Clicking here, we can bring up a submenu here, pick whatever color we like. We'll go with cyan, and color it with the paint bucket tool. Now to deselect, we'll come back up to the selection tool here, click on it, and click onto our background. Now our layer has something in it, and we can, holding Control, we can move it around wherever we need to on the background, or make it disappear using this eyeball. Now to duplicate a layer and an exact copy, what we can do is right-click on Layer 1, come up to Duplicate Layer, and now we have a duplicate layer of the other. To bring this layer out, hold Control again, and drag it out. If you want to keep it straight and aligned to the first layer, hold Shift. Let's do that one more time, but let's use a hotkey. Holding Control and J at the same time will duplicate that layer again. And again, we can move it out. Now let's go over opacities. What we can do now is select each one of these layers individually and give them a different opacity. Let's put this one at 75%. Let's put this one at 50. Let's put this one at 25. Just a little bit of a gradient of opacity throughout here. Now within all three of these layers, if you want to move them, you can select them all, hold Control again, and move them wherever you like around the canvas here. These guides show you when you're moving it if it's center or not, if you have a crosshair. So let's check out blending modes next. So let's just go to the internet and copy a picture. I have a mountain range up already. What we can do now is just Control C on the internet and then Control V on our canvas. Again, that creates another layer. So the order of these layers makes a difference. Since we copied and pasted the mountain last before our three squares, it's on top. Now let's try to move it down. You can see how each one of the squares comes through. So your order of layers makes a difference. Now let's try a blending mode. So in this menu here, it says normal. You have all these different options that will give different variation depending on the color and the placement over an object. I put it over a mountain so you could see the difference that happens throughout each one of these options. So first, let's just click on Darken. See how it disappears? And if you run through all these, you see the slight variation of everything. For now, let's go with an inverse of what's going on. And that's either difference or exclusion. Let's go with difference. We'll do it for all three of these. Now, if you want to change all three of these opacities to match the first one, again, select all three, drag all the way over, and you get to 100% on your opacity. But with the blending mode on, it's going to allow a filter on these three layers to interact with the background. And you can change these if all three layers are selected at once. So now, let's merge layers, bringing them into one singular layer. To do that, select all 3 layers, right-click, merge layers. Now, the blending mode disappeared because it doesn't interact once merged onto a background. So it goes back to completely solid. Now, if you want to get back to where you had it, you'd have to find exclusion or whatever blending mode you had on before to match it up again, to get back to where you were. Now, if we go Edit Undo and add the 3 layers again, to keep this on top of the mountain, now we'd have to hit Merge Layers. Now, all 4 of these are stuck together. Edit Undo again. Now, if we go through all the layers here, if we wanted to flatten to make a JPEG, we'd go right-click on the background with all the layers selected and hit Flatten Image. Now they're made as a background, and now you can save to be in a JPEG.